1, 2, 3, 4. So for this, the purpose of this presentation, you need to know 1, the jab, and 2, the cross. So the fifth speech is about body language. So I felt it was appropriate to talk about a new hobby of mine, boxing. An old acquaintance that I don't really care for too much called me at the beginning of the semester and he said, "Hey man, need help moving my bed just a mile down the road. I know you have a truck. Is there any way you could help me out?" So, like I said, I don't really like this kid that much, but I feel like part of what makes someone a good person is the ability to help out, be nice to, and love people you don't particularly like. So I go and help him out, and we get to talking. I said, "Hey, Marcel, I thought you had graduated already. What are you up to?" He said, "Yeah, but I haven't found a job yet, so I'm just working at the boxing gym still." I was like, "Oh yeah, I heard you were doing that. How do you like it?" He said, "It's awesome." I said, "It's something I've always wanted to try, boxing. I'm a big guy, played a lot of sports, but I don't really know how to punch. So if it ever came down to it, I'm not going to go out and get a bunch of street fights, but if it ever came down to it, I could probably get my butt whooped by someone a lot smaller than me because I don't know how to punch." He said, "That's why I started, and a mutual friend of ours, Will, actually is in the same boat as you and really wants to learn. So you should give him a call. I can hook you guys up with some free 10-day passes, and we can make this happen." So I called Will, and we did it 2 Friday nights ago. We get there, and everyone's out in the parking lot doing burpees. If you don't know what a burpee is, you get down, throw your legs out in a push-up position, do a push-up, bring your legs back, jump up. And it may not seem that hard, but it's by far the best full-body workout based on all the stuff I've read and just doing them. So I did maybe 30 or 40. There was no time limit, no limit, and 30 or 40, I couldn't go anymore. We go inside and we learn the techniques, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and different combinations. Go outside, do wind sprints in the parking lot, go back inside, hit the bag. So this Kepner boxing gym is located like Oak Road, turns into Lexington Road, out where you turn right on the Barnett Shoals. It's a shopping center right there, and there's a movie theater in there. So then he sends us for a lap around the movie theater, and it's at least a quarter of a mile. So we do that, we come back in, hit the bags, do an ab workout and leave. And I've never been so sore in my life as when I woke up that next Saturday morning. And it wasn't really from all the workouts, it was really from the punching, lats, shoulders, neck, abs, legs. And that was enough to bring me back the second time. So Will and I both had crazy midterms last week. So we didn't get to go again until Friday. Friday night we get there, and there's a totally different vibe in the whole gym. It's like half the people that were there the previous week, and there were a couple girls there the first week. They weren't here the second week. And we look at our friend Marcel at the front desk, and he says, "Yeah, you guys are going to get to do some boxing tonight." So no workouts, we're just hitting the bag, and the Coach Kepner's in the ring, and he brings up like his 2 prodigies to box first. And he's kind of putting on a show for us because he wants us to come back and pay for more lessons. So we're hitting the bag, and we see these 2 guys going at it, and it's just awesome. Watch how good they are. And it's, I want to be that good one day. Then they give us these helmets to put on, our mouthpieces and gloves. And he calls Will and another guy into the ring, and I'm watching them while I'm hitting the bag. It looks pretty cool. Calls a couple other guys, and he calls me. So I get in the ring, I'm ready to go. I'm thinking this is going to be a breeze, ready to whoop some butt. And he says, "Hey, Connor, get in here." And, I'm ready to go. I turn around, and Connor is about this tall and this wide. And he's not fat. He goes to these boxing classes every week. But he's probably 5 or 10 years older than me, too, and he's just a hoss. And I'm thinking, Lord, this is how I die. He is setting me up for my death here. And Connor knows it's my first time, so he's going easy, and the instructor tells me, this time we're just focusing on the lefts. But when you do that left, they can't hit you with their right, but they can hit you with their left. So you got to put your right in front of your face to block. So we're doing that. He lets me kind of on the offensive. He's playing more defense. And about halfway through, I'm going, and my hand's down. He pops me one good time. We keep going. And it was really fun. We get out. My friend Will goes again. A couple other guys go again, and then he calls me. I get in there, I just took on the biggest dude in the gym. I'm ready for whoever I can go against this time. Who does he call? Connor again. So this time it's ones, and you got to keep this hand up while you're doing your one, so you don't get hit by their left. And when you're going for your right, you got to keep this hand up so you don't get hit by the right. So again, Connor's letting me I'm more on the attack. He's more on the defense. And then he starts coming at the attack. Second time I expect him to be coming more on the attack. I go for one good one with my right. He catches me with my left hand down, pops me in the mouth. And the mouthpiece we have isn't molded to our teeth yet, so it went up into my lip, and I had a front busted lip. I got blood pouring all over my shirt. And we finished the round. It's like, I think, a minute and a half. We finished the round, and I looked down, I got blood all over me, and the coach says, "Hey Josh, look at the rules. There's like 2 or 3 rules on the board, and the first one is clean up your own blood." So I go to the bathroom, get paper towels, and clean up my own blood. And so that was awesome. The exercise component, the being in the ring, the thrill of being in the ring, and then getting my shirt bloodied up were just awesome. By the end of the night, I saw a couple other guys blood all over their shirts. It was awesome. It's definitely going to have me coming back to do another $100 a month. I'm going to sign up and actually take the classes. It was awesome. I'll let y'all know how my career goes as a boxer. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Wow, very interesting speech, Josh. There's a lot more than just trying to punch this person. You certainly taught us about various intricacies and training that essentially needs to be done in order to box. So now everyone, make sure that you fill out feedback for Josh's speech on your first speaker ballot, and ensure that you have pros and cons so he knows what to improve upon and where you did great for this. And make sure to pass them at the end of your rows. Second speaker today, none other than Zack Varghese. Let's welcome him up to the stage.
So I'm awake. I open my eyes and I look up. I don't remember lying down, but I look up at a ceiling that I don't recognize. I look up at a ceiling that's completely blank. No ceiling fan, just weird lights. And then I hear it slowly fades in. Beep, 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 beep. I look to my right, and there's this green glow. It's a solid line, just going straight. And every single time it beeps, it goes up and it goes down. And it keeps on going. Beep, beep, beep. This perpetual, horrible, daunting sound. And I'm wondering what this is. It feels like it's eternity since I last woke up, but I don't remember what happened before or why I'm here. I look to my left, and a figure is there. I couldn't make it out because it was completely dark, and I hear my dad's voice. "Oh, you're awake." It's amazing. I'm just so happy to hear your hearts beating. I've been hearing this sound for the past 30 minutes, just wanting for you to open your eyes. Beep, beep, beep. I didn't understand what was happening. The more I asked, the less sure I was of my situation. He explained it was a TBI. Who knows what that is? He said traumatic brain injury, and I said that doesn't happen to me. I'm Zack Varghese. I'm a 4.0. I'm a wrestler. I don't get injured. I'm strong. There's no way I'm in a hospital. But yet there I was, lying in a hospital bed, wondering where it went wrong. The next 5 months, I've been explained over and over again, and I still don't believe it. I roll around in a wheelchair wondering why am I doing this, because I can walk. I can get up and walk out of this bed, and this hospital and these nurses and these doctors are saying I can't. And it's torture because I know I can. I know I can do everything that I used to do, and they say that I recite my ABCs, my alphabet, the thing I've known ever since I was 5 years old, at a 25% accuracy. A kid that got 4s on his AP Bio exam is now barely at the level of a kindergartner. And I'm wondering where it all went wrong. Luckily, after those 5 months, they let me out. I recovered, and they say it was extremely fast for the injury I went through, but it felt like an eternity. But finally, I got up. I got out of that hospital, walked through the doors, and it was the happiest day of my life. I walked into my family van, and I was driven all the way back home, and was welcomed by all of my family. It was amazing. But still it felt like something was missing. Something was still there. Something has changed that I will never get back. And that was, well, I didn't know what that was at that point. I didn't know what I was missing. All I knew is that I was missing something, and I was searching for it. Well, months passed, years passed, and I've been trying my hardest. I'm working my hardest to be who I was back then, even though what I was back then didn't try, and he was successful. And I'm wondering, what is missing? And then I realized nothing was missing. I realized that in thinking I was missing something, I was holding myself back. I thought I was different than I was years ago. And in truth, I was. But everything's healed. The saying goes, wounds heal, scars fade. I'm perfectly fine. But there's always going to be a scar. There's always going to be a remnant of a scar in my life, because brain injuries aren't something that you can get up from and treat like it's never happened before. But I chose, when I realized that day, to live my life to the fullest. I chose to be a better me that I could be. Instead of regretting what I've done in the past, I chose to walk forward, chose to make a better me for myself. And I chose to say, I'm just happy that my heart's still beating. Thanks.
Alright, just essentially just repeating what we did for our first speech. Fill out some pros, fill out some cons, what you thought was great about the speech itself, what could be improved. I'll give you all 10 to 15 seconds for that. third and final speaker for today. She has been part of this organization for at least a year, and I would like to introduce Jessica Parks, who will be speaking for 10 to 15 minutes for speech today.
So hi everyone, I'm doing a different speech. I'm speaking from the Better Speaker series. You're probably wondering what is that, why is she not doing a regular speech like everybody else? So in Toastmasters, there are two tracks. You have the leadership track and then you have the communication track. So for those of you guys who are already members, the leadership track involves completing this red book, which is here. And then for the communication track, that includes completing this blue book, which would be here. Some of us are what we would call, I guess, advanced speakers, because we've been in Toastmasters longer. And so we're over here in this area. So for example, Zack is actually working on an advanced communicator manual, so he's over here. And so the goal of Toastmasters is to become a distinguished Toastmaster. So that's my goal by like 2020, because it takes a while to get there. So I'm actually not speaking from any of these three manuals. I'm speaking from the Better Speaker series, and so the purpose of that is for members to kind of give back to other members in the club. Instead of me coming up with a speech about my goals and my dreams, I'm instead giving a speech on how you guys can use body language better. So that's why this speech is going to be a little bit different. So there's 3 different categories of body language that I'm going to talk about today. We have the facial expressions. Oh my God, I'm so happy that I got a car for my first birthday. Instead of, oh my God, my boyfriend's the best boyfriend ever. I just love him so much. Like my face just felt weird saying that. Gestures, obviously, I wouldn't say, my puppy is so big. Like every time he sits on top of me, like his big size just overwhelms me. And with the last part, sometimes we just have the tendency to just, say our speech, and it's just really hard to just kind of find a balance between not moving around or moving around. And so I'm just going to talk about like when should you move around or not, or when should you just stop and let your point resonate. So those are the 3 things I'm talking about today. First, I'm going to start with facial expression. So some of you guys received a piece of paper with a purple number on there. So can you please raise that up? Okay, so number one is there, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So I tried to model it after this. So I know the whole right hand, left hand side thing is not going right, so just please work with me here. I actually learned this thing, I'm going to call it Uncle Mike's 5 eyes, Uncle Mike's 5 eyes, from a man named Uncle Mike in Malaysia. I was doing a summer camp training in Malaysia last year when I was studying abroad. And he's actually a Toastmaster there, and he pretty much taught me this activity that I'm about to share with you. So sometimes when speaking, it's very hard to not just stop looking at one person because I'm just so comfortable with Ikra, and it's just so hard to not come over here or go over here. So this is something that he taught me, and I've been doing it for however long I've been a Toastmaster. It's been very helpful. So I'm going to show it to you, but please don't think you have to do it this way. And please don't think that you can't change it to be your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the people that have their numbers to hold their numbers up. And then the other hand, whenever I look at you, I want you to count down from 5. So I'm looking at Zack right now. So his hand would be up as I count down. And then I stop looking at him and I'm looking at Festus. So I'm doing that. I want you guys to judge me, well not judge me, but evaluate me on how well my eye contact is. I'm just going to ask some questions afterwards. So, let me just come up with a random speech. August. A stands for August. So, number 1, where are you? So everyone hold your numbers up. And then as soon as you see me looking at you, I want you to count down. So number 1. August is just my favorite month because, you start school, but then the next thing you do, you start thinking about September. And September is just such a sexy month because just think about September. The leaves are coming, fall is just so beautiful. and I'm running out of things to say, so I'm just gonna ramble on and start talking about my nephew. Actually, I have 10 of them, so I don't even know which one to talk about. All right, I'm done, thank you. I wrote that myself, by the way. Raise your hand if you felt like I was looking at you. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so 5 people at least. So, had I been speaking more, everyone would have had their hand up, because while I'm looking at Tyler, these 2 people at the end are probably like, is she looking at me? I don't know. So by doing this activity, you'll actually begin to spread your eyes out a little bit more. Now this is what you don't want to do. Hey, my name is Jessica, and I have 12 cats, and cats are beautiful, and I have one named Fluffy, and Fluffy is cute, and Fluffy is why his name is Fluffy. You don't want to do that. So I would highly encourage you guys, if not pick 5 people, just kind of go somewhere over here, then somewhere over here, and in the back, and just vary your eye range so that you'll start to look at more people. You don't have to stare at everybody for 5 seconds. I just said 5 seconds because 5 seconds is just random. But, you know, maybe I want to look at Nasir for about 2 seconds, but as I'm starting to go to another point that might resonate better with Tyler, I might look at Tyler, but then I remember that Serena is grammarian, and I want her to hear the fact that I'm about to say perpetual, and so I want her to write that down. Okay, so I'll go to the next part, which is gestures. So there's 3 types of gestures. You have conventional, so if I'm telling a story, and I'm talking about how when I was little and I thought a monster was coming after me, and I want to yell, stop, monster, stop! Like I'm putting my hands up to indicate stop. It may seem kind of goofy and corny, but when you're in the audience, it just really helps illustrate the point. Like when Josh was doing the weightlifting and all that kind of stuff in his speech, like that just really stuck out to me more than if he just said, yeah, lift weights. When I see a dude just lifting weights, I'm like, oh, okay, it was a weights. Gotcha. And so again, with the whole dog example, when I was like, I have a big dog, this just doesn't go at all. This doesn't match. And then just going off of emotions, clenching your fist for anger. I was just so angry that I made a 70 on that test, and I know damn well I studied. Like that just really irritates, like it really explains everything that I'm doing. I'm actually gonna stop right here and show you guys a speech that I did and show you how I integrated these things into my speech. So, for those of you guys who were in Toastmasters last year, I did a speech on how I learned how to swim. I have to confess, I did not learn how to swim until I was 24, so don't judge me. Because I was terrified of the water, I had a drowning experience when I was like 10, so I'm just like, I'm never going into the water. So this is what I wrote. So something that you can do, I put this is supposed to be the terrified emoji, but you know, Microsoft Word isn't quite as millennial-ish as I am. So when I'm talking about I was terrified, I put the emoji when I'm writing my speech to remind myself that I need to make my face look terrified. I need to make my hands look terrified. I need to make my voice look terrified. And I need to make my whole body look terrified. So that's what I have for there. Another something that's very powerful, which Zack did an excellent job of that in his speech, he's just acting out things. When he was sitting down and he's like, I saw the green light come to my right or left. It was somebody's right and somebody's left. So how he just turned and looked. That just really that allowed me to be in his story. That allowed me to almost feel his experience. So those are some things that you can do. So those are gestures, and then those are just facial features that you can use to add to your speech. Okay. I'm also going to send this out to everybody so you don't have to feel like you have to write down things. That's the TA in me coming out. Okay. All right. So the next part is there we go. Woo. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Whole body movements. Now I'm guilty of this because it's just kind of awkward because I don't know when to stop moving or like what to do. So when in doubt, just stand still, don't move. Because once you start moving, people just kind of they're like, why are you moving? What are you doing? So I would say you should stay still unless you're doing one of two things. which is maybe you're leaning forward because you want people to pay attention to what you're saying. It's kind of like I'm not gonna say seductive, but like alluring techniques. Like, listen to me. I'm going to tell you something wonderful. Come close. Or the next one would be to just change your point completely. So when I did debate in high school, we had to like do this really canned or these organized speeches to where there are 3 reasons why the U.S. should not go to Iraq. The first reason is that it would cause economic downplay. The second reason is people will lose their families. And the third reason is blah, 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 blah. Well, believe it or not, it really helps because once you're done with the point, it's really helpful to just kind of move on past the next point. And people notice when you move, so they're like, dang, why did she move? Oh, she's saying something different. Maybe I should wake up because she moved and pretend like I'm listening.